base.
Also,
You
if you're a
guys just
grown
happen.
man, please do not wear gloves,
Oh my God.
wide receiver gloves, to the stadium.
You can't do
Please.
that. And that guy gave the double birds in his gloves.
gloves.
For some reason,
God,
I
it's
saw him
embarrassing.
like clapping with his gloves on, and I instantly pointed out and started laughing at him and looked at Alex, and Alex was
Maybe
already laughing
2
at
minutes.
Cheers to episode 96.
Cheers. Cheers. Dylan's participating for once.
Iced tea.
Yep. Dos Equis.
Water.
Wow. The rare Alex is the only one drinking. You guys are in for a treat tonight, it sounds like.
I mean, it's one beer.
Michigan State wins, goes to Ford Field, sees a win. The kid is an alcoholic now.
Can't be stopped. Ultimate high.
I've had much higher highs, I'd hope.
Have you?
From the Lions winning 2 games in a season and Michigan State winning 4? Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Speaking of winning, tonight is Tuesday, November 8th, 7:38 p.m. It's a cold and rainy night in Minnesota. I don't know how it is in Michigan right now.
It's 50 and
It's chilly.
Winter
Tomorrow.
Winter is coming, at least here. We have no more warm days in the foreseeable future.
it's like 38 in the morning and like 65 when I leave work. So it's not really that cold.
Yeah,
Also,
if you're going to
Saturday
a game on
was like-
Saturday, though, bundle up.
Yeah, it's going to be freezing.
That's
Are we having?
Yes.
Yes. Assuming no one blacks out at the tailgate.
4 hours to black out. That'd be impressive. Well, I basically did it last time.
Yeah, I think you could do it.
That was like 5 hours. I got to like a 12. I got to noon at least,
Yeah.
I think.
Hey, most games kick off then, so.
What game were we watching? We're watching the Michigan Penn State game, right?
Couldn't die.
That feels right.
I think I saw the beginning of that game.
All right. So you're listening to the #1 sports podcast in Michigan. And like we said with Alex, we, the three of us, and if you're a state of Michigan fan, we're all winners. We're winners this week. We cannot lose.
Pistons
We
won
wake up
yesterday
with
and the Red Wings won
excellence.
too.
Let me check the stat from at @clapped_Dre on Twitter.
Shout out him.
A Michigan-based sports team has not lost in 3 whole days. It's a miracle. And really, it feels like a miracle. We just cannot lose, guys.
Oh, Red Wings tied it up.
Title
They heard
town.
you.
Title town. But yeah, a lot of winning, good vibes on this show to talk about. We have our weekly check-ins for the 3 of us. And then we have a variety of football games to get into and a little college basketball. So we'll have the Lions recap of the Packers game, preview of the Bears. We have Michigan State recap of Illinois, preview of Rutgers. We have Michigan recap of Rutgers, preview of Nebraska. Then we have Michigan State college hoops, early season hot takes, preview, big picture stuff as the season is tipped off. It's John Rothstein's favorite time of the year. He's just in his bag. So we weren't going to go that full deep, but we'll do a little bit. So you guys, outside looking in, have had phenomenal weeks that I'm excited to hear about. Evan, would you like to start us? You are muted right now. Oh,
Yeah,
he's
I'm ready to
dialed
go.
it. He's dialed it.
Let's see. Last time we talked was last Tuesday.
Why
full
does it
week.
look like Alex just sniffed a fart?
You're like fantastic weeks. I don't know. Had an okay week. Just feels like you're overhyping it.
Wednesday, Thursday? Didn't do much, I don't think. Oh, got a dog.
Yeah, I was going to say. Here we go.
Got a dog Thursday night. Yep. Got a
Life-changing
brand
week.
Yep, got a brand new puppy. It's currently on 9 weeks old. It's a girl golden retriever
Beautiful.
named Ruby. So that's fun and exciting so far. Friday witnessed high school playoffs. Didn't go as well as the
pour one
previous
out.
weeks. All in all, good season. And then Saturday went up to the berm with
We're still
friend of the
calling it
podcast.
that.
It's the berm. Friend of the podcast, Ben, had a great time. Saturday was great. Just kind of just watching college
Football buffet.
just in your face. Saturday night went out, got super weird. It got strange in a
weird
good
night.
way, very good way. Sunday morning had a great breakfast at a diner that Alex hadn't had yet, which is
Great, you
sad.
never had either.
What's it called?
It's sad.
Nick D's.
Is this a D's Nuts show?
No. Nicky
Okay.
D's. I think it was called Nicky D's.
All right.
It's fantastic.
Not McDonald's.
And then what Grant you hinted at, yeah, we thanks to you, thanks to Larry, tickets to the Lions game. Watch the Lions beat the Packers live.
Yeah.
50-yard line. All in all, good weekend. Alex was there for most of it, so
I was there for all of it.
you were not with me on Friday night.
Except Friday.
Can you elaborate as much
On
as you
Saturday
can
night.
on Saturday night without, like, the
I
best you
didn't.
can
I wanted
without?
Alex to join in the conversation because
Okay.
he partaked a little bit more than I did.
Okay.
He was a.
Take it easy.
He was
I'm not
leading
saying, no,
the
I'm saying
charge.
we all had a
getting
fair
weird.
share, but you,
I was just closer to the stage, so yes, I was
you were
grabbing.
instigating it to multiple people.
Grabbing what?
We went
that's
to.
a
I
great
don't even
question,
know what bar
Grant.
we went to, Alex.
We
so
were
you
at
could-
Fifth Avenue.
nice bar, very nice bar.
Cover?
Big bar, nice bar. No cover to get in until you wanted to go upstairs. So they changed how that is.
That's actually
Free to
sounds
get
like a
in,
smart business move.
10 to go up. Of course we went up.
Oh, that's not that bad.
$10 investment turned out to be a decent investment
Very good investment.
Value.
because some guy there, don't know who, didn't see him, anonymous. We'll call it just an anonymous guy.
Any guesses?
So never
Yeah,
saw him.
whoever
so I
had
don't
their
know.
private party behind the DJ booth.
The stage where the DJ is, you know. How that looks,
Indomitian
right?
Sue?
No, we don't
this-
know who
we're
it is.
talking
It's
about,
anonymous because
like-
I don't know. I have no idea.
Antonio Brown?
No, we're talking general, just a generic.
Just a normal
9 to
guy
5
that makes
you
like
pass every
400
single day in
grand a year.
Bushes.
Not
Nothing
Bush.
special. Nothing special about a dude up there.
Wow.
So the stage, he had a
That's
bunch
nice.
of people
That's
up
how
there.
much money he had.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, so it was packed. It was okay. We're having a decent time. And then all of a sudden, there's just like a line of bouncers and waitresses just walking with cases of Bud Light. Your favorite, Grant.
Oh, I love that.
Bottled Bud Light, like 20 cases.
Mm.
20 cases of
Rolling it
bottle
in on a
of
dolly.
Like 12
Yes.
packs or 24 packs? This doesn't matter at that level.
Can't confirm. It was a ton of beers.
140
Not even-
beers.
Not even half of them were gone.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, oh wow, the people on the stage, they're about to have a great time. Free booze. And then bottles of champagne are getting popped. So there's a bunch of bottles of champagne keep coming up. You're like, what's going on? Then platters of shots are coming, like endless platters of shots. And then all of a sudden, so we're sitting right by the stage.
Yeah.
They just start handing them out to everybody. So I'm
The
just
beers
reaching my
first.
hand
The
up.
beers first.
And they hand me a beer, I hand it to someone, they hand me another one. And we're just to the point where everybody in our group is holding 4 beers. We're just like, all right, I guess we have to drink these now.
Justin was awesome. Justin would have like 5 in his hand, and then he would just like reach back, not even looking, just put his
And they
hand
would just
back, and they would
put
just
it-
instantly
put it
give
in his
one
hand.
another one. At one point, he had 5 beers just in each one of his fingers, just holding on to them in one hand, and he had 2 in the other.
That's
We
insane.
had like 25 beers in our group.
I had 3
Um,
beers already in my hand, and Alex was just handing me beers. Like, you have to take these. And I was like,
I have too many now. Now
I
I need
have
to
no
get rid of
room.
these beers. So now I'm chugging the beers so I can have more. So I'm like, I got to get as much free beer as I can. Didn't know. Then that's when the shots came. And then they just started handing the platters out. So I'm sticking my hand up there and just going like 5 fingers, grabbing 5 at a time and just passing them around to everybody. Not even just my friends. I just hand them to anybody who wanted one. So then
My God.
we're ripping shots. We're drinking
and these
free
shots
beer.
were bottom shelf.
Straight vodka.
They were
Bottom
horrendous.
shelf bad. But we're like, it's free. I have to keep doing
Nothing
a
mixed
couple.
in, just straight.
Just straight.
Bug spray like.
It was tough to get down.
Were you guys so close to the situation that you think 50% of the people on the upstairs floor thought you guys bought some of these? And like, since you were like, you guys look sweet handing them out. Like, yeah, here you go, everybody. Yeah, here you go.
I didn't dawn on that, but if we all would have just
probably
stood
did
in the
look
front
like
row
that.
and just start passing them out, they'd be like, yeah, these guys are a rule.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Should have got more involved.
So yeah, just bottomless beer, bottomless shots for the last like hour and a half of the night.
And all the beer was on the stage. Like, you could have probably just gone up and grabbed them. But the shot trays of, like, the waitresses would be, like, they'd bring, like, 4 or 5 trays out of, like, it had to be, like, 20, 25 on each one.
Yeah.
5 minutes go by, another 4 or 5 trays. 5 minutes go by, another.
More people come out with more
nonstop.
stuff. It never ended. It just felt like I had to drink the entire time.
Wow.
So that was...
And, like, if we kept on going, it would have been miserable.
We were heading down a bad path.
And somebody... not going to name names, somebody on this podcast
Me.
kept on turning and just grabbing them. It was like, well, they're free. I got to take them.
I just couldn't turn them down. I just couldn't turn them down. And then I did something, a bad friend move.
Oh.
So I grabbed 2. I offered one Evan. No chance he was doing it.
I did take 2 others after that, though.
Oh, wow. That's disappointing.
Yep.
So I'm offering them around. Everyone's like, no, I can't do another one. I'm like, guys, we have to. They're free. This is probably like the 4th one that I've done.
Oh my God.
And so I hand it to Drew, and he's like, yeah, I can do one. I mean, he pushed back, but I was like, Drew, you got to do this.
It's free.
I pulled an all-time scummy move. So we took the shot. He swallowed his. I didn't. Spit mine back in the cup, and then didn't take it. And he just looks at me. He's like, what's wrong with you?
Oh, he saw you do it.
Yeah, he saw me do it because I don't think I could do another one. I mean, this is like terrible, terrible vodka. I was like, I can't do another one. But I grabbed them. So then I tried. Wasn't going to happen. Spit it back in the cup. Drew takes another shot he didn't need. It was rough.
Yeah,
but awesome because all this free booze.
Any interesting results from this type of night? Like anything post this was like we can trace it back to getting a bunch of free booze. That's why we made these decisions.
No, I didn't do anything crazy. Justin did break onto the stage somehow. We don't know how.
I mean, the security in Fifth. Was it always like that?
Yeah, they're crazy. Security guards were like flashing lights in people's eyes, like getting people to move out of the way.
If you were in trouble or you got messed up,
everyone knew.
A bouncer was throwing you across the room and just bullying you out of this place. It was insane.
Yeah, they were aggressive, probably because of all the free stuff at the front. They seemed a little more on edge than normal. We didn't do anything crazy, surprisingly.
Those bouncers felt like Ann Arbor cops when the Michigan State night game got announced. Like, oh boy, we better strap in for a night when all this booze gets bought.
Yeah, except they didn't.
That is wild.
So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Before Sunday, Alex, you had memorable Friday night, I would say.
Hey!
Not true.
Yes, true.
Went out to
definitely true
dinner with Drew's parents and Drew, who came to see the Berm. We went to Griffin Claw, very nice brewing company establishment. Then we went to a bar downtown Birmingham called Dick O'Dow's.
Come again?
An Irish bar called Dick O'Dow's.
Got it.
Classy establishment. Had a beer there. And then went out to the bars in Royal Oak after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Had a good time. And then Evan and friends came over Saturday.
And Sunday,
we saw your girlfriend.
Marissa, yeah, I actually texted her. I said, is there anything you'd like to provide for the recap that I can pass along on behalf of you? As the lone Packers fan who went to a Lions-Packers game. Her only takeaways were, 1, be aware of the jalapenos at Ford Field if you choose to get them. They can wreck you up.
Spicy little things.
They burn on both ends is kind of what
did you think she wanted you to say that?
She just said they will ruin. She just said
actually something that needs to be brought up on this podcast.
They will ruin you after.
No, I have something important before I forget.
Okay.
Just so that people are aware, Grant entirely lied a couple of weeks ago about him and Marissa's plans. The pumpkin,
hot seat, Grant.
God, what is it called?
Pumpkin
Corn
patch?
maze.
Yeah.
All the falls girly stuff that we were like, oh, Grant, she made you do that, blah, blah, blah. Turns out, Grant just let that slide. Grant planned the whole thing. Everybody needs to know that. It was Grant's idea. I even felt bad when Marissa was telling me. I was like, wow, Grant, you're a real asshole for letting that slide. So that was all Grant's idea. Grant is pumpkin guy, corn maze guy. Give him the donuts, give him the cider. That is a Grant thing, not a Marissa thing. And I'm here to defend Marissa.
To defend myself, one, that's true. I did plan it. Two, she texted me these similar sentiments like the day after the show dropped, and I went back and listened. I was like, did it come off that way? It never got into the weeds of who planned what. You guys were just ribbing me, and I played along like, yeah, and the Packers were on the big TV. Like, I just hammed it up. I didn't think you guys needed to know that I planned it. I think that probably was
everyone
assumed,
knows now.
Considering
you lied, try to make Marissa look like the planner,
never lied.
and it was you.
I never lied. You can check the tape. I never lied. I just hammed it up like, yeah, didn't want to watch football.
Whatever gets you through, man.
I appreciate that. It's funny.
She deserved to be defended.
And the second thing she said of her experience at Ford Field, first time ever going to Ford Field for a football game. I'll just read it for quote because it's a little mean. 30-year-old Lions fans not wearing Lions gear.
I knew she'd talk about this.
And talking smack stink, all caps.
He had a Pavel Datsyuk jersey on.
We had a dude that was over the limits and thought he knew football but didn't know football.
Worst. Sorry, you can keep going.
And he was just talking crap to like the one Packers fan that's kind of near us, not named Marissa. But this Packer fan was just like in a group of a bunch of like Lions friends.
Mm.
And like he wasn't instigating anything.
He never said a word, honestly.
No.
And
as a Lions fan, we talked about this on the walk back to the car. We have no crap to talk to any fan base besides the Houston Texans.
So it was
bottom of the pit. He was saying, like, imagine being a Packers fan. Like, wake up, buddy. Imagine being a Lions fan. It's pretty dark down here.
I told Marissa right when... So a group of kids, I'd say they were like, I don't know, 14 to 18, somewhere in that range. They went to the wrong seats in front of us, but they had to pass Pavel Datsyuk. And Pavel Datsyuk just looks at him and he's like, here we go, boys. Here we go. Got to do this thing. Got to get loud. And I'm just like, this grown man talking to high schoolers, telling them to like what to do at a football game. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This guy's way out of bounds. So I knew it was going to be a bad sign from the start. And then those kids had to move because they were in the wrong seats.
So just not a great representation of IQ of the Lions fans you guys sat around.
Also,
well, the last Lions-Packers game, not the last one, but the one we went to on Sunday night, Grant, for the division game.
Oh.
Remember, I got into it with a Lions fan yelling at Matthew Stafford at the end of the game. So there's just...
A little Tico, Texas action, basically.
There's always just Lions fans
Stafford.
Don't represent themselves very well.
Bad apples in every fan base.
Also, if you're a grown man, please do not wear gloves.
Oh my God.
Wide receiver gloves to the stadium.
You can't do that. And that guy gave the double birds in his gloves.
For some reason, I saw him like clapping with his gloves on, and I instantly pointed out and started laughing at him and looked at Alex, and Alex was already laughing.
Maybe 2 minutes before Evan said that, I looked at Marissa. I was like, look at the dude in the gloves. Grown man wearing gloves. And then Evan just notices it on his own and starts dying laughing. Evan had one disrespectful moment as well.
That player deserved it.
Evan belittled Taylor Decker on like the third play of the game.
No.
And it was
it was the second quarter. It was early.
And it was like dead silent. And Evan is just booing and yelling, telling him it was a waste of money. And like everyone around is just like looking at us laughing. I'm like, oh man. And then Evan looks at me like 5 minutes later. He's like, was that a little harsh for Taylor Decker? Because it was 0-0 at that point, and he false started, and that was it. And Evan just lost his mind. Tough look.
God, it just reminded me of an all-time Lance chirp at the game of a Lions player, and I just can't think of the defensive back's name. It was a tough name. It was like I'm thinking of a Warrior. I know it's not that, but it was like along those lines, like in 5 years ago, and he picked off a pass in the end zone instead of taking a knee, brought it out of the end zone, fumbled, gave the ball back to the team first and down in the red zone, and Lance just stands up from those seats and go, "That's a JV play," like player's last name, and the guy like saw him and just was like heard Lance and was like, just a great interaction. Gotta be careful in those seats though, with like that close. Like that guy's gonna hear you.
They can hear everything.
Yeah.
It was loud in there though. You would have thought this was for the division.
It was packed. It was sold out.
Sold out game.
Unbelievable.
Took 30 minutes to walk out of the tunnel.
The upper deck was sold out to the rafters.
Who's ever doing ticket sales for the Lions deserves a raise, because the fact that they're selling that place out. Any other memorable things from your guys' trip?
It's crazy how passionate the fans of Detroit are.
Feel better?
Some idiot, not going to name names in our group.
Oh, no.
Somebody on this podcast
was boycotting the Lions and said, I'm not going to give any cents to their franchise until like they start winning, be above 500. I'm
guy.
so good at it, or this person's so good at it, that they don't even bring their wallet to the arena. Don't even bring it. Just didn't even have to bring it because how much money they're going to spend.
Yeah. Smart guy.
Genius move.
If it was on purpose, it'd be a great idea.
It was on purpose. Yep. Didn't realize until we were halfway down the interstate. And I was like, oh, too late now.
All part of the plan, baby.
Yep.
The only things from mine, I didn't do a ton. I made the great chicken wings again that I ate all on Saturday. So
okay, Grant. We need to get you to start branching out. I mean, you Raising Cane's, chicken wings, and fettuccine Alfredo.
I mastered pork chops in the air fryer this weekend. Or yesterday, 2 days ago.
I just feel like
That's a hot topic in the group chat.
Bit repetitive on your eating
potatoes.
Cycle.
Sweet potatoes too. Oof.
Just feels like you could start trying to eat some new things.
Well, it's tough because I really only have to prep for.
In Minnesota, they only sell chicken and pork chops.
No, I only have to like prep for dinner and then like weekends, so I can kind of just run back to basics. I don't get sick of it because there's a lot of variety in the week. Whereas if I was having to do everything like back in Birmingham,
today?
Pork chop, sweet potato. I made 3 pounds of pork chop. I eat it throughout the week, and like 5 sweet potatoes.
You made 3 pounds of pork chops.
You come on here and act like meal prepping is a foreign idea.
No one meal preps pork chops. No one just makes a bunch of pork chops.
The valid point. Meal prepping is common. Meal prepping
pork chops not common.
Fine. But if it was like chicken breast or ground beef, you'd be like, yeah, fine.
Right, but it wasn't.
But
pork chops.
Pork shoulder steak.
Pork chops.
This tweet's gonna be so fire.
Pork shoulder
Is
steaks.
It normal to meal prep
gas.
Pork chops.
They were a value buy from Hy-Vee, like 3 pounds for $20 total, which is, I don't know if you guys see inflation.
I'm cool with the pork chops. It's just, it's a not
get out
normal
and
thing.
By the time you listen to this, it's too late.
I mean, I don't regret it. It was delicious. I did not vote.
No politics on the show. I didn't
Sorry.
vote either. I didn't go home to vote.
I haven't lived in Michigan, and I can't vote here. I know more about Minnesota's candidates because of YouTube ads than I do Michigan's.
Well, I haven't said this week. So.
You were doing that. You were leading that charge.
Cut.
Well, we all no. That's staying in. I'm just gonna put a hard bleep over that. So
that has to stay then too.
Bonk.
What's a good picture of a pork chop?
The other thing, not to get too sad from this goofy mood, guys, is did you ever just feel this weekend that time is moving pretty fast through football season?
God. I'm going to end.
It's moving too fast.
I need it to be over. I'm ready for basketball.
Oh, Alex, you're the worst.
Oh, Grant, my team stink.
You can still enjoy. I mean, think about how desperate we are in the summer when we're just scraping together shows of like, oh, what snake draft are we doing this week? And we're like, we need football so bad, and we get it. And I was like, there is only 2 more games until Ohio State, which is the whole season. Like college football season it's like done. It's essentially done. Not to get too doomsday. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. The NFL is kind of a bleh year because the quarterback plays down everywhere. It's kind of disappointing. It made me sad for a little bit. And I bounced back.
Okay.
I'm glad Evan feels the same way.
I'm ready for college basketball. I love college basketball.
I do love college basketball, but I'm actually enjoying the college football season because I don't think it's entirely dominated by 2 teams.
Thank you for saying that,
it's the
Evan.
Georgia Invitational, and everybody knows it.
Yes, Georgia is the best team, but I think there is a handful of teams that can make their argument for 2 through 7.
Yeah. And we'll get a little more college football talk later, but Georgia, I don't think this Georgia team is as good as last year's Georgia team.
Whatever you need to say, Grant, so you think that Michigan Georgia is closer this year.
What do you think?
I get it.
Do you think this year's Georgia team is better than last year's team?
I think they easily can be. I think their offense might be better. I think their defense is still very good.
100%. I'm solely just going
not
off
generational, I guess.
I'm just going off the Missouri outcome. Like last year's Georgia team didn't have
everybody
any.
has
not
sleepwalking football games.
Not last year's Georgia team. They just ran.
They sleepwalk in the SEC championship game.
They didn't sleptwalk. They ran into a desperate do or die Alabama team, which is a different beast.
Well, now they'll run into a LSU 2-loss team. How exciting!
Good night, LSU. All right, let's get into the actual game of Lions-Packers that'll kick off our show because it was a massive win. Whenever you beat the Packers, and you know what was great, guys?
2 games out of the wild card.
Facts. 2 games out of the wild card. When you say it like that, it's like, well, we're not going to make it
With the Bears upcoming.
But, well, yeah, we'll get to. Oh my God, I'm nervous.
Put Justin Fields.
Why, guys? We have the best defense in the NFL now.
Debatably, we're 27th in like advanced stats and defense. It was a huge win in the sense that we usually beat the Packers as of late. In end of season scenarios when Jordan Love plays, thinking back to last year. It felt good to play spoiler and murder their season.
Dan Campbell has a winning record against the Green Bay Packers.
Is that real?
That is real.
Yeah.
He's 2-1.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wait. Oh, yeah.
Dan Campbell's only in year 2.
Split last year.
2 of his 5 wins are against the Green Bay Packers.
And it was a huge step. That's really nice when you say it like that. And another step only needs to win 2 to 3 more games to get off my hot seat. So it was a big step to getting to year 3 overall. And when they needed it, they got it and they played spoiler. And Packers fans are in shambles. It's funny. Just go to their final score on their Instagram page and look at all the comments and be like, wow, yeah, we just broke this fan base. This fan base is absolutely broken. And it was nice to see, you guys saw it in person, just complaining, a lot of emotions from Aaron Rodgers, still doubling down on talk shows this week, saying we can't lose to that team. They didn't play that good a defense, which, to be honest, they did move the ball really easily against the Lions on a few drives, and he made the mistakes. So I get that point, but just didn't be like, you know what, we lost, hand up, have to be better. It was still being like, we lost to that team. We moved the ball well. They weren't that good on defense. Thank you, Alex. My question for you guys, not to get too off the rails here, but if you could take one player off any NFL team that's not a quarterback and add it to the Lions, who would it be and why would you do it?
Processing.
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. Can't go wrong with that, really.
I'll take healthy TJ Watt.
I landed on Michael Parsons when I thought about this question to myself.
Love Michael Parsons.
Which I'm surprised you didn't ask because that was your draft Muse. You liked him?
Yeah. I'd like all three. Can we have all three?
I don't. Salary cap, not sure how it works. But I was just
They'll
thinking
take a discount to play for Dan.
what this team is still missing. And I think that our answers to that kind of give, like, we still really need, despite their good defensive performance, we really still need edge pressure, which hopefully we'll address in the upcoming draft. For the game itself, Hutchinson, nice to see him make a heads-up play. He was kind of in no man's land on the play, and Aaron Rodgers did underthrow it a little bit, but at least he didn't bite fully and made the catch. A lot of defensive ends could drop that ball. And then obviously the other star of the game was Kirby Joseph. Breakout game, had kind of been building. We had mentioned his name. We like him making plays. What was your guys' takeaways from Kirby Joseph, seeing him live?
Dog.
Two interceptions.
Dog. Almost had 3.
Amazing
Dog.
play on that pass defense. Started
You know,
the line of the scrimmage.
First one, lucky, I think.
Okay, fair.
He was in the right place at the right time. Somebody else was there at the right place at the right time. If Kirby wasn't able to catch it. But somebody you can now trust and rely on over the middle of the field, and he's kind of reliable in that coverage versus the tight ends. In some situations, I think down the field, you haven't really seen him too much at the line of scrimmage. I don't think that's what he's used for. It's more pass coverage.
He's not a run stuffer.
No.
But I don't think we need him in this defense.
He's a pass guy, coverage guy. No, I don't think we need him. You'd have Tracy Walker to blow up people whenever he comes back.
Next year.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Yeah, I think what I like about him so much, if you're a longtime listener, you know one of my big pet peeves is not understanding how defensive players can't catch footballs. He used to play wide receiver at one point in his career. He was going to be a wideout, and he got converted to defensive back, and I think you see that. Like, yes, to Evan's point, that first pick was a gift, but that was there's a lot of defensive backs that drop that because you're getting hit by Okudah, who hit multiple teammates. Friendly fired multiple teammates in this game.
Not a great day for Jeffrey.
No. To address that quickly, I think we found his kryptonite. It's big-bodied receivers, and Alan Lazard is not DK Metcalf, but he's a big boy. So I think that just gives Jeff some fits.
Bad day for Jeff. Right after I sing his praises, he has a bad game.
But, Alex, we are an inch away from changing our tune where he almost ended the game with a strip and recovery all on his own. So
that wasn't reviewed.
That wasn't reviewed magically. But to Kirby Joseph, it's huge to see a guy on defense basically be like a wide receiver playing back there. And the more he learns the defense, the more his instincts put him in a good spot. You like having guys that are going to catch the ball more than 50% of the time because a lot of defensive backs just cannot do that in football. And it's just, they're kryptonite, but he's able to do it. So that's huge. Offensively was pretty gross. I mean, we can't sugarcoat it, right?
Yeah. We ran the ball okay. Just no big plays. Didn't pass the ball that well.
So I think I would call
underwhelming.
One long play action one to Amonra maybe over the middle.
That was early.
Was it early?
There's a big long play to Swift early. There's definitely a big long play to Amonra early in the game. Then it felt like he didn't have a good game.
He had 9 targets.
9 targets, aren't catches.
4
I
catches,
think Goff,
55 yards.
Goff had less than 150 yards passing, so there wasn't much to go around.
2 touchdowns, though, to some tight ends.
28.5.
Yeah, no-name tight end. I shouldn't say no-name, that's mean, but lesser-known tight ends stepped up in a big way in the wake of the Hawkinson trade, and now they didn't do anything amazing on the one to Zylstra. That was a beautiful scheme by Ben Johnson. He's wide open. And another one, James Mitchell, he was pretty open and a good ball by Goff to not overthink it. But I guess it was good to see, like what every Lions fan is telling themselves, it was great to see the defense really clamp down. And both teams, I know I've seen Packers fans being like, we just got absolutely banged up in the game injuries-wise. So did the Lions, not maybe to the extent as the Packers did, but the Lions, like at one point, Okudah left, Kirby Joseph left.
Twice.
Malcolm Rodriguez left at one point with his elbow, who looked like he got blown into shreds, but he came back because he's a dog. Yeah, there was injuries all around, and Swift is like To you guys in person, did Swift look like he was at, like, what, 70% health? Like, what does he look like?
He looks pretty slow. I also thought he got concussed in the middle of the game, but he didn't even go to the tent.
Dr. Alex. Don't tattle
Evan saw it too.
Don't tattle on us.
Yeah, there's on the replay of him up on the big screen. It looked like one of the teammates was holding him up, and then he like came out, and I don't even know. I don't even recall if he ever went back in after that. But he did not get examined on the sideline at all.
Any other major takeaways from this one?
Dan Campbell almost had a repeat of the Vikings. Exact situation. Exact situation. You have the lead. Do you go for it? Do you not? Do you punt? And based off the Vikings, you would hope that you would just punt, but we went for it and gave the ball back to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Evan, we attempted a field goal against the Vikings. Didn't we?
Yes. I understand that.
Evan's a punt guy, though.
We said go for it is fine. We could rather lose like that.
Go for it the first time in the Vikings. And then when you have that same exact situation and you
go
saw
for
what
it
happened
again
against the Vikings, you do the smartest option.
You're right. Go for it because your defense has been clamps all day. I think that was a good decision by Dan, even though we didn't get it.
I didn't like, speaking of
had
aggressiveness.
4 shots inside the 20 at the end of the game.
We won. It worked.
Stunning as Lions fans. So I was behind, like TV's way behind live. So I was like refreshing the stats, and I just kept expecting refreshing to like one of those pass plays to be a touchdown. Because as Lions fans, we are so used to just blowing that end of game scenario. I couldn't believe when I refreshed on the 4th down and it said incomplete with no flags. I was like, wow, they actually just got off the field with 4 incomplete passes and won this football game. So I don't know if that means we're turning any sort of corner where we don't just dread those situations.
Jerry Jacobs is back. That's what happened.
He's the key, the catalyst.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Good corner. Better than Okuda.
Alex, why do we have to like get on a good roll and then we just say crazy things for clicks?
It's not crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Cover corner. Jerry Jacobs, #1 in Detroit.
No, Evan solidified Okuda as the #1 cornerback on our team.
#1 tackling corner on Detroit.
Corner.
#1 cover corner. Jerry Jacobs. Combine their skills. Jalen Ramsey.
What's our PFF grade, Alex?
Evan, I can't tell if you love PFF.
I don't know if PFF. Give me all the stats. I don't care.
All right, Evan's all in on PFF.
Blake Corum is higher rated on PFF than Kenneth Walker ever was. Evan, you still like PFF?
Is that true? Cancel PFF.
PFF.
That's not true. That's not a true statement. I don't know that. I'm just seeing if I could get Evan to switch.
I was going to say, you've really done some homework if you're pulling out that. Yeah. To the aggressive point, I would say, I know I gave that speech about wanting Dan to go down in flames. I don't know if I need him to do it on the first drive of the game when we could just kick the field goal for 3 points.
That was a little early to do that.
I don't hate taking points when you're a home dog. Like, just take them. We had this conversation with James Franklin last year against Michigan when they tried to fake it, and it ruined their whole game. Just take the
fake points. Is even worse.
Take the 3. Yeah. Yes. A fake is way worse. At least we ran a play, but just take 3. Why not? Just take 3 points. All right.
Good win.
Great win. To end on the lines here, we'll do Lions Bears quickly, a little preview for next week. Group them together. I kind of laid out the show that way, so they all flow together. We are early slate Fox.
Or 1 o'clock every single game except Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Alex. The spread is +3 Lions, -3 Bears. Over under 48.5 at Soldier Field. Who is announcing this game?
Brandon Gaudin.
No, but save that name.
Oh, he's doing
stop.
Michigan Nebraska game.
No.
Michigan Nebraska's on ABC.
ABC, Alex. Come on.
It's Michigan Nebraska.
He's doing a BTN game at noon. Michigan State and Rutgers.
Or the BTN game at noon.
Poor Gaudin.
But for this game,
Fox.
Greg Olson again.
Starts with a K.
Kevin Kugler.
Yes, and his partner is?
Don't know.
Daryl.
New York Jets.
Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez. Boom. Kevin Cougs and Mark Sanchez.
Kugler.
I picture this game being yucky weather. Speaking of yucky, this when you go to Soldier Field in November. Yucky.
yucky. Just a weird thing to say.
I'll be honest with you guys. This is a big game for me as a fan. It would sting a lot because when we went into this year, I just blocked it off that we were better than the Bears. We were just a better football. We're a better football team going into the year than the Bears. So then if we lose, especially if it's like a multi-score game, 10-point game, bad. That's bad. That's regression.
Outdoors, Jared Goff.
Oh, no.
Chilly, too.
Then fast forward 2 years, we're doing this show, and we're saying outdoor CJ Stroud. We just can't escape it. We need every game in a dome.
Sunday during the day, high of 39 in Chicago.
That's football.
And windy.
5 to 10 mile per hour winds. Nope, only
the
5
windy
to 10.
city.
2% chance of rain.
Lovely.
It would be
Yucky.
football weather in Chicago.
I'm for sure wearing long sleeves, no doubt.
39 degrees.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. Well, some people question.
Oh, you're saying
in
that as a
football.
player, or you're saying that as a fan?
As a player,
You could wax your arms.
What?
Doesn't that work? Vaseline on your arms makes you less cold. That's what players do.
I didn't know that. I just
To
thought,
be tough.
Fighters had to do that when they walk into the ring.
No, Vaseline in the cold
Right
can't
on
come
their
on.
face, so it doesn't cut as much. Will we
I like
break?
the Bears.
You like the Bears in this game?
I like the Bears in this game. I think they're all.
Well, Evans a Justin Fields stan now.
You got a little thing. You got a little
I
crush
have a
on
little man
Justin
crush
Fields.
on Justin Fields. I do.
Ooh.
I think the Bears
Three-way
offense
crush.
is humming right now. Our offense is not humming. Are we able? Can our offense get to 28 points?
Yes. They've
Yeah,
proven to do
the
that
Bears
this year.
defense is
Name
up
the
with-
last time. Name the
Bears
last time the Lions
defense is-
offense got to it though.
A few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, probably.
the
A
Seahawks
month
game.
ago.
Seahawks game.
Yeah, but we've played decent defenses. Dallas
Yeah.
is top 5 in the league.
Bill
Green
Belichick,
Bay's-
best coach of all time.
Patriots top 5 in the league.
Green Bay's defense isn't that
Green
good. That
Bay's
was embarrassing.
okay.
We should have done better.
That's a bad game.
First game without
Not
Hawk.
exactly
Got to
going
adjust.
against scrubs.
Now you're going against a quarterback that just ran for the most regular season yards.
Talking
in
about
NFL
offense,
history.
Evan.
But Evan, we have two Anzalone was built to chase down mobile quarterbacks. So
It was built to fill up the waters on the bench for everyone else.
There's now a bunch of tape on Justin Fields running, so we'll benefit from that.
I'd play a lot. I just saw it back to my account. I think I would play a lot of Derek Barnes this game. Just feels like
Much
something.
faster
Another team
than
attack or
Rodrigo.
Wesley?
Maybe bring back Jared Davis just to run around, be an all-time.
He's
QB
on the
spy
practice
for-
squad. All you got to do is activate him.
Let's elevate him. All-time QB spy for this game.
QB spies never
we
work.
have problems with covering scrambling quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers ran for 2 first downs.
Aaron Rodgers is reasonably mobile.
Over under how many times Aiden Hutchinson
Okay, so what
blows
is
by
what
the
is
tackle.
Justin Fields then?
Very mobile, but who's
Okay.
going to deny that?
So I don't.
I don't
like my
know your
chances.
point.
My point is, Aaron Rodgers ran for 2. How many do you think Justin Fields is going to run for?
12. We're talking about Michael Vick. We're talking about Michael Vick in his prime.
Alex, you're in a bad mood, dude. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, your obsession with Justin Fields. I mean, they lost still last week. Like, they still lose games. They're not just like winning
The
every
Lions
game
are 2
now.
and 6. Let's not like overhype the Lions. Sound
I'm just not going to sit there and say we're going to get blown out by the garbage Bears.
I didn't say that we would get blown out. I said I just like the Bears' chances. Their offense is humming and ours is not.
Yeah, but I think our offense can score against a Roquan Smith-less Bears defense.
Okay, Baby Hands is playing outdoors. FYI.
Yeah, he has fumbled. He's fumbled a
believe in
lot.
Jared
He's
as
fumbled
long
a
as
lot.
it's not
Soldier
raining.
Field. Last time we played there, right? Had like 3 red zone turnovers. That was that game.
Was bad. A bad game.
But no Roquan Smith, no Khalil Mack, no Robert Quinn.
Yeah, they're not good anymore on defense.
Quan Brisker, though.
Chacon Whisker. Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson's upset though.
Speaking of Justin Fields, one of my notes was this is a legacy game for Justin Fields in my eyes because I will be judging how good of a QB he is solely off of this performance. This is the classic. He plays your team. You hear all this buzz. I did not watch the Miami game. I heard he ran 178 yards. I get it. If he doesn't look good in this game against the Lions defense, he's not good. This is a legacy game for Justin Fields from my eyes on this podcast. So huge game for him. In the last
Okay.
note
You just hate
about-
Ohio State quarterbacks, so let's just move on.
I don't hate them. There hasn't been a good one in the NFL in my life. So
Joe Burrow. Stupid.
I don't know how many times we can make this joke.
It's not a joke. He went to Ohio
Last
State.
interesting nugget for this game. We talked about it on an earlier show in this year. The Lions' road wins have never run on the road with Dan Campbell. The last time the Lions won, let's see if you guys remember, your memory recall, when was the last time we won
at Soldier Field?
It was at Soldier Field. Darrell Bevell was the head coach.
Darrell Bevell.
Wasn't O'Clara had a strip sack? I don't know. What's his name?
It was somebody like that.
We had tied the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Adrian Peterson was our leading rusher.
Close enough.
Adrian Peterson was our leading rusher.
57 yards at the Bears, 34-30 to make us 5-7 on December 6th of 2020.
We were 5-7.
Oh, we were pretty good. It's gross that I think that's good.
And then we lost 4 in a row to close out the year.
God, the organization's dog shit.
With that in mind, with that good juju in mind, the road loss streak comes to an end this weekend. The Lions march into Soldier Field and win 24-20. Boom. No, I take that back. It's going to be way more high scoring. It's going to be 31-28. Game-winning field goal by Badgley.
31-27. Lions.
Yes.
Bears.
One game out of the wild card.
That's not how that works. Everybody has to lose.
Yes.
Bears 36, Lions
50,
29.
The Bears' offense is that much better than the Packers.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is 10 times better than Aaron Rodgers.
Justin
10X.
Fields can run.
If he can't throw as well as Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers looked like he couldn't throw on Sunday.
That's because of how good our defense is.
How bad his wide receivers are. Romeo Doubs got injured on the first play. Somebody sniped him in the ankle.
Alan Lazard had the game of his life
You
on
sniped
Jeffrey
him in the
Okudah.
ankle. I don't know about that. I don't think I understand Jeff
Lost
Gibson
him
big
like
plays,
4
but
times on every single fourth down.
Let's relax. He did drop one that I think they reviewed, right?
They did. They reviewed that while I was getting a soft pretzel.
That was on Will Harris.
Yeah.
The dropped one was on Will Harris. Even worse. So all the caught ones were on Jeff Okudah.
Someone got to check his PFF grade. I'm sorry. I can't comment further on the matter until I know the numbers.
Yes, so I know the stats.
10.
All right. So
It was a 10 out
2
of
Lions
100.
wins, 1 Bears win. We'll see what happens. Should be a fun one, you hope. Now, we move to another win. The theme of the show, wins, wins, wins. Michigan State, Illinois. First question off the bat for you guys. Was this the biggest win in the Mel Tucker era?
No. Michigan game
God,
last
that's
year.
so stupid.
Well, you're calling out a lot of people on Twitter right now.
They're idiots.
Okay.
Can't say that, but
It was a nice win.
no.
Respectable
An undefeated
win.
Michigan team, both teams in the top 8 in the country. How ridiculous of a question that is.
You won a New Year's Six Bowl.
Okay. Where does it? Let's do that. Where does this win
I
rank?
don't love the New Year's Six Bowl up there. I don't.
Well, you weren't there. You weren't there.
We have so many wins to choose from, so pick one then. That's above that.
Oh, I'm just saying I might put this Illinois game 2
Wow.
or 3. Penn State game in the snow was an impressive win as well. Coming off of
because you were there.
No, because we were coming off a murder, and it was a good bounce back.
It's in the top 5, I would say.
Well, yeah, that's probably fair. There's
Probably
only
5. I put it at 5.
It's only 17, so 5 out of 17. Yeah, I'd say it's in the top 5.
16
It's not 1.
I think it's
not
2.
dogs.
It's 2 or 3 for me. Peach Bowl's different with no Pickett, no Walker.
And you
The
weren't there.
program still
Evan was
won.
there.
The
It's a
program
good win, Evan. I'm very happy we won.
What was that shuffling board place you went to, Evan?
Moondogs.
Moondogs.
Yeah, you didn't get Moondogs, Alex. You don't understand the vibes of that
You
weekend.
don't understand. I was thinking about that the other day when I
Miami,
was
that was a pretty good win.
Oh, Miami's in the top 5.
That was actually my number 1 win of the Tuck era.
I forgot about Miami. Miami was a great win.
I called the plays. Jay and I dialed it up.
Jay just looked like the best offensive coordinator in the country that day, so that was a big win.
Speed and space. Speaking of that with Miami, oof. All right, so huge win, 16-point dogs, a lot of distractions. the week before that we all discussed. They go in, they get it done. They expose those frauds in Champaign.
After you guys pumped their tires for a week.
I pumped them up like a big old air balloon.
Who have they beat?
I haven't just
They
said.
have not beat anybody.
Still no one.
And it was tough mental gymnastics because I'm like, the Big Ten West is a joke, but Minnesota
Michigan
had
State
their.
is 2-0 against the top 2 teams in the West.
But I kept thinking about how Minnesota had their way with Michigan State, so I was like, okay, I don't know if I
we
can
played
just write
Minnesota
off
again,
the
we
West.
win.
Wow, love that.
It's a close game at least.
Closer. It has to be closer.
No, I think we'd beat them. I'm going to stick with
I
that.
don't think we would.
So it was a big win.
We would. Henderson.
Any major standouts you guys would like to highlight from the game itself?
The
Cal
defensive
Holiday
line.
Evan, you go first.
You're going to praise Cal Holiday after what you said.
I was just
going to
say Cal Holiday is just riding a roller coaster of garbage and good. Garbage and good. It's
He's
tough.
the defensive player of the week in the Big Ten.
I said garbage and good. Garbage, good.
Roller coaster
When he fills
Holiday.
his holes properly and hits with authority and people get tackled.
When he has
looks
bodies
good.
up front that's actually taking on double teams where he doesn't have a offensive guard running at his face right off the get.
Turns out playing 4 defensive tackles on your D line.
And I hope that
works
Michigan
against
State
the
fans
run.
realized that what was going on with how depleted our depth was on the defensive line. We were barely running any defensive
That's
ends.
2 weeks in a row.
We had like a couple people, and it was all defensive tackles. And I think it actually helped our blitz game. Like our pressure packages, I think it helped.
I don't know if we had a defensive end other than Avery Dunn playing.
Like I think it just helped due to the mass bodies, and then now you have more, like the gap responsibilities aren't hard. Now I get it. Illinois still moved the ball decently on us. We forced a turnover, the 1
2.
fumble.
Well, yeah, 1.
When
I
we
think.
stopped them on 4th down, and they had a garbage 4th down play call.
I think they were 0 for 4 or 5 on 4th down.
Just overall, they look more competent on defense. But however, like Alex and I have said, this defense is built to stop the run in a run-first teams and not pass-first teams.
Should work against Rutgers. With that noodle arm quarterback. Jeez.
Wimsatt,
Like I said at
yeah.
the beginning of the year, I will not apologize, and it feels good to win no matter how you won. It feels good in any game.
I thought the win was impressive. I'm not even going to apologize for it.
Would you like
there
to?
were some blunders.
Would you like to apologize to Bert Bielema for faking injuries?
Brett Bielema.
He's faking his diet, so he needs to apologize to the rest of America.
Brett Bielema is so soft. I've never liked him.
Something about Illinois fans, right? It's all starting to make sense.
I'm pretty sure Matt Charbonnet had a good tweet saying, yes, that was our game plan, is to fake injuries for our depth on defense to even get worse. And so we have even like 4th and 5th string playing against your number 1 team.
Yeah, because if you fake an injury, if you go down with an injury and they have to come out, you have to go out for a play.
Clearly, he doesn't know Mel Tucker's phrase of no shot dogs. No shot dogs.
Michael
So it
Donovan, do
is.
you think we want to roll him out on a D tackle for our injured player because he's the next guy up?
And I
it's our
forgot
backup
that
long snapper.
Illinois' offense runs at such a fast pace because they run spread that it was actually slowing them down.
Illinois sucks.
What are your current thoughts with Scotty Hazelton? And I guess
Falling back
I should
in on
have
Scotty.
asked this about Aaron Glenn because it was a theme of our teams
I'm way in on Aaron Glenn.
with defensive
Michigan State
coordinators.
Michigan
with
State
them
is Detroit Lions in disguise, and the Detroit Lions are Michigan State in disguise.
Spider-Man meme.
Yes.
Offense supposed to be good, and then now the defense was so
defense.
terrible, and now the defenses are good. You know why? Because of the men in charge. I am here to keep Scotty Hazelton and Aaron Glenn. For now. I can easily be swayed.
I mean,
Scotty
it's the
Hazelton
bend don't
since
break
he-
right now,
Yeah.
and it's worked.
Best
I
red
mean,
zone
he's
defense in the country.
piecing nothing together.
Well,
Defensive line wise and linebackers are pretty not great. And you held the best running back statistically at the time.
Yards.
most attempts by a mile.
At the time. He still had over 100 yards, but not very many points, and you won the game. And you were playing conservative defense because you're up 2 scores. the whole fourth quarter.
I will not, though. You cannot apologize for the time clock management blunder at the end of the game. That was worse than, like, 5th grade knowledge of how to run the clock down at the end of the game.
And that's coming from a coach himself, people, so listen up.
Thank you.
2 gripes about it.
Only 2?
Is it related to Peyton Thorne? Because you seem to...
I have a
put lot of
gripe
blame on
about
him.
the delay of game, the management. I mean, they said they couldn't signal in the right play, so that's why they took a delay of game. And then they called a pass. I personally can live with calling a pass play as long as my quarterback knows it has to be a completion or just go down. That's all you have to do. If you're going to throw it, you can't just throw it at his feet and like a guaranteed incompletion. I would rather him just take a sack. I get being aggressive because you have the worst special teams unit in all of football, including high school, JV, 8th grade, 7th grade, down to 5th grade.
Checks
Worst
out.
special teams I've ever seen in my life.
Just confirmed it.
So I get why you'd want to throw it and try to score a touchdown and end the game because you know for a fact you're not making a field goal. However, I mean, it's still like you would hope you could make a 22-yard field goal. So I get why everyone would be upset. But Peyton Thorne can't throw it in the dirt. He has to take a sack or run or do anything else.
So there's that side of the coin. Evan, go ahead. Rebuttal.
My side of the
Your
coin
thoughts.
is get your play calls in and run the ball. They have no timeouts left, and there's a minute something left in the game. You run a run play at the last play of the game. Yes, I don't get me wrong. The wide receiver was open. He should have completed it. I'm not making an excuse there. You are running the ball. They have no timeouts left. No timeouts left. You should have been attempting that field goal with like 20 seconds left. Illinois should have never had that possession at the end.
I feel like I bet a lot of bad thoughts creeped in their head, like, oh, we run it down, kick gets blocked, and they take it to the crib and we lose. Something crazy like that.
Yeah, but with your
That's how
bad play
bad
calling
this
and
special team is.
bad time management, any sort of mistake there, missed field goal, happened, they got the ball back.
Yeah.
Right, but if you complete the pass, and the game's over. So
If you run the ball down, they have 20 seconds for the worst case scenario. 20 seconds.
like I said, I can always live with going down on your terms. If you want to go for it, if you want to be aggressive.
It was terrible. Get your play call in and run the damn ball.
They made massive mistakes, but it wasn't fully because of the play call. It was the play before that to delay a game, getting your calls in.
Correct, getting your calls in. Who is that for? Whose fault is that?
It's probably Caden Hauser. He's probably the guy signaling it in from the sideline with the big play cards. And that was the mess up, is what I saw.
Oh, you saw it on
I thought you
Twitter.
were off Twitter.
No, didn't.
Oh, yeah, Facebook.
You called him.
No. Nope.
Blogs. You're in the weeds again.
No
God,
blogs.
You're drinking that stupid ass Kool-Aid.
Nothing.
So my
Just listen to
question,
the press conference.
my question to encapsulate it is Mel Tucker, with all that being said, is 7-0 in one-score games, but
So it seems to work out.
through his
8-0
first
leading at
year
halftime.
into now, he's had some mess ups. What is your confidence level, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most confident, trust in him in late game situations or general game management?
Late game situations, 100% trust. Clock management and time management at the end of the games, like a 4 out of 10. Because it's a repeat offender. Remember last year at halftime of the Rutgers game?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when we came on here, and it was like, ugh.
I'm going to
This
leave
one-
full trust in Mel because I believe that he's a guy that self-evaluates a lot and he will figure it out.
And you just watched the
Well, his
biggest win of his era.
self-evaluation process has been pretty low because of how many times we messed up.
And
Seems
he also
repeatable.
has the most ranked wins against road teams in the FBS in the last 4 years. So
Bam.
I'm going to trust the guy. And
I'm going
I
to
mean,
trust him
it could
too, but
be,
that needs to get fixed.
maybe he's having Jay run all these
'Cause you're gonna
time
sit here
management. So then when he
crying
gets
and
fired,
You're going to
yes,
sit here
we're going
crying
to
and
lose a game. It's going to suck like that. Yes, but every team does, Evan. No team's immune to that. Everybody makes a blunder once in a while. It's just unfortunate we make them a little more than once in a while. Hasn't costed us yet, though.
2 questions to wrap it up here for Michigan State, Illinois. When it's all said and done, when you lay your head on your pillow at night tonight, does MSU make a bowl game? Not at 5-7. Do they win 6 games?
Yeah, we got our one upset.
Okay.
Alex and I said we had to upset either Michigan, Illinois, or Penn State. We got our one upset. Now you go out and spank Rutgers and Indiana.
They're at home. No reasons to lose those games. Those teams stink.
Shout out the Quick Lane Bowl. We know they're up. They are so ready for it.
Why not just win out and go 8-5?
It's going to be the biggest crowd of Michigan State fans in Ford Field since the Final Four was there.
Since FAU hosted a home game there.
Javon Ringer went crazy in that game.
Nope. Kirk Cousins was there. Javon Ringer was not in there.
Oh, are you sure, Evan?
I was at the game, I'm pretty sure.
Javon Ringer did go crazy against FAU at one point in his career.
It was at home. It was in a monsoon.
Last question of the recap part is, what is your guys' pitch to Dante Moore?
Oh, God.
Sell the kid.
We're going to hire Kenny Dillingham. Is that the OC at Oregon? We'll just fire Jay. We'll take him so you can have your guy. And we'll just get rid of every single quarterback on our roster, and you can be the only guy there, and it would be fully your team. Plus, I can't say that. That's my pitch.
I was just going to say the nightlife at Michigan State is pretty fun.
I was going to pitch something similar to that.
There's nothing better
than college
than being a hero and a generational talent in your own home state.
Wayne State. You are.
Bear State.
You are.
Grand Valley State. And there's no better feeling to they're one of the best in-state rivals in the country, and you to represent that 4 out of the years.
Sold.
Well, 3. The guy's got big NFL dreams.
All right, Alex. You're just...
I hate to be that guy, but...
Michigan State Rutgers preview. Buggers.
Edwin Baker went crazy at Ford Field, Evan.
Yeah.
15 carries for 183.
I saw Brian Linthicum, I'm pretty sure, get his shoulder pot back in place on the sideline.
15 for 183.
Noon.
What a day.
BTN.
50-yard field goal in that game.
We already teased who's announcing it. Well, do you know the caller? Do you know the analyst? We know it's Godin. Do you know his partner?
Booty.
You do. Who?
Booty. Jake Butt.
Jake Booty.
We actually have him for once.
He has to do Rutgers games back-to-back weeks. I'll pour one out for Jake Butt.
Pour one out for Jake Butt. He's pretty good at his job. He's a good analyst, and well, you guys won't get to hear him because he'll be there. He knows ball. Minus 11. This is kind of weird. I don't know if I'm just in the leaves. I went to go look for the spread on FanDuel and DraftKings right before the show. Wasn't on the books, so I don't know why it's pulled, why it's off.
Too much money.
Well, there was reports that the final tunnel investigation was coming out this week, and I was like, that can't be it. Like, what else is happening this week? Now. Okay, you see it live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
MSU minus 10.
So it's back.
It opened at minus 12.
Yeah, I was seeing opening 11.5, 12, but I couldn't find it on. I actually
87% of the public is on Rutgers.
I still don't see it on FanDuel. You cannot bet on this game live right now, so I'm confused.
87% of the public bet is on Rutgers.
Under
probably the spread.
Over under 40.5. Godin and Butt.
89% on the under.
Noon PTN. Any thoughts you guys have on this game other than it's Rutgers you have to win?
Oh, I think
it's Rutgers you have to win. I watched some of the Michigan Rutgers game. Rutgers' new quarterback has an absolute noodle arm, and he threw like 7,000 interceptions, it looks like.
3 second half picks.
Rutgers
your worst corner.
Somehow.
Whoa. Will Johnson?
Somehow made it a game at halftime of that game. So I guess maybe I was like, oh, Rutgers isn't a cakewalk, but
they've blocked 3 punts. Not to put that in existence, but they've blocked 3 punts this year.
They've blocked 3 punts.
Well, good thing we have a terrible long snapper, and it's going to be coming slow.
Shaking in his sleep.
The same kid has blocked 3 punts on their team. He's a weapon.
He's the fastest one.
He's awesome. And they blocked one for a touchdown against Michigan, so
hopefully
that's on
thank
tape.
God to Michigan. Michigan's doing us a favor by getting one blocked. That way, that's at least that same stunt up front for Rutgers shouldn't happen.
Shouldn't.
Good against Ross Ells.
But we
I don't
still
know.
have the
Michigan
same
State
long
went
snapper.
3-9. And it was an abysmal season, and they murdered Rutgers still. So I will never think that we're going to lose Rutgers, even though we did one time. But that was COVID year, and that was fake. And the
not
ball
fake.
was turned over
Football
7
happened.
times, and Grant jinxed it. And it was awful.
I hate you.
This is the battle of keep chopping.
COVID's fake. I know.
Hours.
Mel
We
Tucker
won to keep
1-1.
chopping last year.
Mel Tucker 1-1 against Rutgers. If he goes 2-1, keep chopping, stays in East Lansing. If he loses, Shiano takes it back in an arm wrestling match at midfield.
That's the entire game should be.
The Keep Chopping Bowl. There really
can
could
chop
be
more?
a cool trophy of like a tree falling down with an axe in the side, playing to the Paul Bunyan theme that every Midwest school plays for.
What are we gonna wear?
Oh,
Probably just our regular
You know what I'm
ones.
predicting?
I don't think we've
I'm
worn them
predicting
once.
we're gonna come out in all green, and we're gonna have some camo accents.
military month.
It's a crazy thing to predict.
Camo
That is
accents.
a drunk thing to predict.
We
Just
haven't
like,
worn our home uniforms this year once.
We have.
you guys don't have
Yes, we
uniforms anymore. You just have whatever.
What
Yeah.
game?
First game.
have.
Green
we
helmet,
just
green
won.
jersey, white pants.
Green, white. We
We
just
wore
won
white
not
in
long
the
ago.
first game, Grant.
Green, white.
We wore white helmets the first game.
Correct.
Oh, true. I can see Daniel Barker's
We wore
one-handed grab.
neons in the second game.
Crazy they threw to Daniel Barker week 1 and then never threw to him again.
I think Wisconsin we did.
It's Wisconsin. We wore Script State helmets.
Oh, please. Score predictions?
I haven't worn our regular homes. this
Michigan State 30, Rutgers 15.
Battle the Keep Chopping Bowl. Prep for the Quick Lane Bowl.
Alex kicks the 30-yard field goal for the Buick
week. Yes,
challenge.
I'm drilling that. I'm wearing cleats.
28-12 Spartans.
Yeah.
31-14 dogs.
It's a clean sweep. All right.
It's crazy what one win will do.
Yeah, it really is.
Back to talking about Rutgers some
Back
more.
to talking about Buckers, who did not look like
Thanks. No one
Buckers
wants to talk about them.
in the first half. That Alex, you owe an apology to the Rutgers faithful. They packed that stadium. They were
They
ready.
did.
They were
I was
frothing
stunned.
at the
I
mouth.
was like, I've never seen that many people at a Rutgers game.
Every third down, they just play Hell's Bells, and you're like, da-na-na-na, and you're like, everyone's swaying like we're in Piscataway, baby. But Michigan,
They're 4-5.
they were able to come back. First time trailing at the half, I believe, this season, and they woke up. They said, you know what, this is Rutgers. Get some help from their quarterback and capitalize
Michigan State
on
hangover.
those plays. Michigan State hangover, kind of chaotic week. Sleepwalking Rutgers, focused on Ohio State, starting now. But it was good to see Mike Barrett. My only really takeaway from the game was redemption arc for Mike Barrett. We just talked about him dropping a gifted pick 6 the week before. He has not one but 2 interceptions in this game, including the pick 6. Will Johnson gets in on the pick. Couple problems still lingering with Michigan. The red zone offense was better in the sense they scored touchdowns, but it took 2 4th and goals. So they are just
Gross to watch in the
8
first
plays to
half.
score.
they are just going to run the ball. I still think that can work against Ohio State based on what I saw last year. We will see, but you would like to at least have some sort of a Shane Zylstra play for the Lions where you get a tight end wide open. You have Schoonmaker, who's a good tight end. Like, use him down there. I think that is also where they miss Eric All a lot in the red zone. But nevertheless, another problem, twofold for this team still, is one, the wide receiver core. It just doesn't feel like they create a ton of separation on their own, which is not the end of the world if you have good schemes that get you open. But Michigan, we know their creativity lies in the run game, not in the passing game. So it's a double-edged sword, or the bad combo of not great passing schemes, and these guys just don't. The most talented wide receivers on this Michigan team, I believe, are the freshmen. They're just not going to play. And some of them actually played. It was wild. Darius Clemens got involved or got in the game. Amorion Walker, who I haven't seen all year, got in the game. Tyler Morris, freshman high school teammate of J.J. McCarthy in Illinois, had a huge 3rd and 7 catch for a first down. First catch of the entire season. Thrust them in when you're down 17-14 on the drive you need after you stop them coming out of the half. Makes a huge catch. I guess I should note Donovan Edwards' catch. It was a great catch in the end zone. He is Michigan's best receiver, probably other than Ronnie Bell, has the best hands on the team.
Probably.
Doesn't take much.
Really good.
Who doesn't?
And then twofold, other bad part is JJ's still just, like, we're talking inches, especially this game, off on the deep ball. One, it hit Andrew Anthony in the hands, a catch that Mike Sanderstill made last year against Nebraska. So I would like to see Andrew Anthony fully lay out and catch it, but still, like, he's that open, put some air on it. You can just tell JJ's stepping into it too much, to throwing it on a line drive instead of the arc. So not all hope is lost on that, because all it takes is one play against Ohio State, one play against a team where you just need to hit it. But right now, you can't sit here and be like, it's a strength for him. It is a weakness right now that has to be corrected, because we saw against Ohio State last year, Cade had to make one throw to Cornelius Johnson to set up a touchdown. You're going to have to make at least one throw in that game that's greater than like 20 to 30 yards downfield on a go route. You just have to make at least one. So we'll see. But there wasn't many X's and O's things I have from the game outside that, because it's Rutgers. I just had a couple questions for you guys about college football and Michigan as a whole, if you'd like to hear some of those.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to answer.
What'd you say before the podcast, Evan? About hypothetical questions to me before Grant sat down?
Oh, I like questions.
I don't think
You were making a joke. You made a joke.
Make the
Do you
joke.
think Michigan is going to beat Ohio State on a neutral field? You made jokes about Michigan and Ohio State and how Grant was going to ask us about Michigan and Ohio State before the show.
I didn't say anything to you.
Maybe you were talking to yourself. I thought you were talking to me.
I didn't say anything about Michigan Ohio State before Grant got on here.
I said, are there any questions I need to know about this show? And I was looking at the doc. If there were any fan questions, you're like, do you think Michigan and Ohio State, who's going to win the game?
I was talking about the college football playoff, because it just came out and they were both ranked 2 and 3. I was going to say, all the Michigan fans were like, oh my gosh, we're going to play each other in college football playoff.
It's a good lead into, I think we should rank, we don't have to do top 10. Let's just rank the top 6 college football playoff, what you would do.
See how good Coastal Carolina's offense is looking
right now.
Georgia won.
Obviously.
Georgia won. I got Ohio
State 2.
I got Ohio State 2 as well.
I'll put Michigan 3.
I got Michigan 3 as well.
Tennessee 4. TCU 5. I'm going to have to search for a 6th team here. Am I missing somebody?
Yes, you are.
You actually are like, I have Tennessee 4 too. I know people would say undefeated TCU, but I think if, like, I'm just basing off of if Tennessee and TCU play tomorrow, I think Tennessee wins, and then I would do.
They have Oregon as 6.
I would do Oregon 6 as well for now.
Yeah, probably would put Oregon 6, but they just got murdered by Georgia.
What do you think?
Cool
Evan,
with LSU 7 as well. USC.
Tennessee's dropping in my rankings. I have. I don't think Tennessee should have been 1 to begin with.
Right.
I have Georgia, Ohio State. I'll put Michigan at 3, TCU, Oregon. I'm just right now just eye test. Who's playing the best football right now?
Georgia. Oh, of these at this point?
Yes,
and this
I
point
think Oregon.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, then I'll put Tennessee at
schedule, but
correct. I'll put Tennessee at 6. Yeah, to round it out, probably.
You're good if you want to stop there. Only need the top
USC's
6.
up there somewhere.
Clemson after their murder.
Clemson's so
LSU.
So we got those. My question as a Michigan fan to you guys is, like, who of those teams do you think Michigan could not beat? Where it's just
Georgia.
like, does it stop there?
Georgia and
stops there for me.
Stops there.
That's how I feel. I feel like it's just Georgia where I would.
I'm not saying they'd be favored in all the other games. I think they could lose over half in a lot of them, but
yeah,
they can definitely beat all of them.
You have no shot in beating them.
I think they play Georgia 10 times. I just don't. I don't.
Maybe
see it.
they win once. Maybe, but I would say probably not.
If everything goes right,
they're not that. Their roster is not that talented.
If they get
Georgia,
if they get a pick 6, if they get a block punt, like that kind of thing,
they would need miracles to happen, and they need to play at the big house.
Yeah, I guess it's just Georgia.
I think it is.
There's some bad matchups on there.
Yeah. Well, there's
They would
interesting,
certainly lose games.
there's interesting styles where it's like that's why I think Georgia's such a bad matchup because they are just
you would try to outmuscle them, and
they're just
do it.
the bigger, badder version of you. Whereas like Tennessee and Ohio State, its styles make fights. So if you kind of play your game like last year against Ohio State, you have a chance. I think the same way with Tennessee too. Tennessee would honestly probably be a little bit tougher just because they have SEC boys up front. I don't know how physical they are. But
I think Tennessee's good still.
I think they're solid.
They ran into a buzzsaw.
An interesting thing playing around on the ESPN playoff predictor machine, which kind of goes to Evan's point, is that
broken.
Right now, it has if Michigan loses to Ohio State, which means they don't appear in the Big Ten championship, they have a 56% chance to make the college football playoff. Is how they see it right now. It's
turning out that way. If TCU depends what TCU does, depends what Oregon does.
It just like does it. Is that I'm trying not to look too far ahead of that, but I hadn't seen Michigan beat Ohio State in Columbus since 2000. I think was the year I looked back, 2000. So I've never seen it in my life. If they are one loss, don't play in a Big Ten championship game. I'm just weighing my options of what would have to happen. Can they be that 4 seed to inevitably lose to Georgia, but at least appear again in the college football playoff? I don't know.
What would have to happen is TCU would need to lose. Oregon would need to lose.
USC has to.
No. I think you'd still get in. One loss, Michigan over one loss, USC. They don't have any
Pac-12 champions. One loss Pac-12 champion. If there's any one loss conference champion, they probably get an over a one loss Michigan. No?
I would not guarantee that, no.
Wow. So that really opens it up.
USC, yeah. I don't think USC would get it.
USC and Oregon are still there. They're still in the fight.
I think Oregon,
if Oregon wins out, they're in over that. TCU wins out, they're in over that.
UCLA still in the fight.
Tennessee wins out, they're in over you.
Okay, but Tennessee can win out and not win their division or win their conference, and they'll have 11 wins.
And I think they'll still be in over Michigan if Michigan lost to Ohio State.
Well, I guess Michigan will be in the same situation.
Better wins. Just it's not Michigan's fault. Tennessee would have better wins.
I feel like I'm sitting here today on November 8th thinking it's going to be, if it goes like that, it's going to be Georgia, OSU, Tennessee, Michigan.
You're saying every team wins out except Michigan loses to Ohio State, and that's your top 4?
Assuming like TCU, I think that the way the Big 12 plays out, I think the way the Pac-12 plays out, I think they fall over each other a little bit, and then there's going to be a rare 2 teams that aren't in conference title games that get in.
The problem is Michigan's going to have potentially 1 ranked win.
At the final rankings of college football playoff?
1.
Penn State.
Because Illinois could easily lose to, who do they play, Purdue this week?
Yeah, they're at 21, I think, right now in the latest rankings.
Purdue's a dumpster fire right now, though.
So we'll see.
But it's just they don't have a resume.
Yeah, I guess
no thanks to the Big Ten.
I'd have to stack it up against other, but I don't want to do that research right now. And I did see a stat in the favor of them not making it, where I believe 27 of the 32 teams that have made the college football playoff have been conference champions. It was very, very rare to make it as a non-conference champion, which makes sense.
Georgia, the national champion last year.
It would be so hard to put Michigan over like an undefeated TCU.
Well, undefeated, yeah, TCU gets in. I'm saying if TCU...
No, yeah, Michigan would not get in over them.
But the problem is TCU, a one-loss TCU can still play for their conference championship.
They could. But if they lose that game, then they're out.
Then so you're saying they go undefeated and then they play in their...
No, I mean, like, if they lose it... Well, I guess, yeah, if they probably lose to Texas this weekend, and then they could lose in the Big 12 final game. And then they're for sure out.
It would be a rematch versus Texas.
Yeah.
As of right now.
And if Texas wins, they're not getting in. They have too many losses at this point. So if the Big 12 eliminates itself, the Pac-12 beats each other up. We'll see.
Well, in fairness, USC and UCLA one of those teams will be eliminated.
It really
Actually, the final game of the season, Baylor versus Texas, will be to go to the Big 12 championship game. They're tied right now in the standings.
I'm looking at this
against TCU.
Well.
It could really come to, honestly, how tight Michigan plays Ohio State, where if it's between Michigan and Tennessee, 2 teams not playing in the title games, like they'll be like, Georgia beat Tennessee worse than Ohio State beat Michigan. We're going to put Michigan in. that could actually be a huge factor when it comes down to the decision if that's the fourth team that they're deciding.
All going to come down to non-conference schedule. Ugh.
Oh,
Just root against TCU, root against Oregon, root against USC.
Well,
So you're
and
a
root
big
against
Texas fan this
LSU
week.
because if LSU somehow wins the SEC, they'll have an argument.
what even made it a possibility
Could
was
be LSU and Georgia will get in because it's the SEC invitation.
They'll have an argument.
what made it a possibility was how everything broke for Michigan last weekend. This past weekend could not have gone better. Alabama booted, Clemson chokes. So it really just I think if Clemson wins out with one loss, they're not getting in. They're at 10 right now. There's no way they jump back up to 4 because I think
The way they lost killed them.
and ACC has been real just mid this year, and I think a lot of
say dog shit.
okay,
The
a lot
Big
of their
Ten though is also dog shit.
yeah.
That's the problem.
I do have a question and then 2 stats before Nebraska, or statement, I guess. And I want to make sure the question is: are we in the trust tree?
Yeah,
Always have been.
Trust tree listeners too out there. We're in the trust tree.
well, I can't trust them.
People might get their receipts down. It's not a prediction. I'm just saying I have had the thought going to bed over the weekend. I've envisioned this Michigan team in the national championship game. I've seen it. I think it's very possible this year. Now, we know the Buckeyes.
Is this based off of Jim Harbaugh's press conference today?
No, this is just watching college football. The Buckeyes is the biggest test. We know that. If they win, that's a huge if. So, but you just have to bear with me with the if. If they win that game and handle the West opponent, there'll be 2, and whoever is 3, I don't think is that's a winnable game. They might even be favored against whoever is 3. It's not Georgia. If they beat Ohio State, I like Michigan versus TCU. I think they can beat Tennessee on a neutral site. I think they can beat Oregon. I think they could beat LSU if they get in as 3. I don't know who's going to be 3, but you look at that crop under Georgia, I think it's wide open from what I've seen this year in college football.
I would take Michigan against TCU. I would take Michigan against Ohio State right now.
Wow.
I would not take Michigan over Tennessee. I don't know about Oregon 50-50. As random as a team that they're in this, but and I would still pick Alabama against Michigan if Alabama and Michigan played.
That's fair.
Not that's relevant.
That's fair. Yeah, I probably would too, just because of the brand and how good they've been.
I'm not overly. I just think Ohio State is soft. That is a conversation for a different time.
Northwestern game changed your mind.
They can't keep playing like that for me not to start to question things.
Yeah, why are you saying the same? Why aren't you saying the same thing about Michigan?
Michigan's not soft. They do dumb
Look at
shit.
their first half stats. Look at the scores
they
going into
also
halftime.
ended up winning 52-17. So they figured Ohio State didn't come out in the second half and look all of a sudden way better and murder Northwestern, who is much worse than Rutgers.
I do give Evan's point credence where I'm starting to get worried where Michigan has
I don't think
been,
either team's that great.
Michigan's been a poor first half team. There's no denying that. It's been close at half in every game. The key is can they keep it if it's an avalanche Ohio State first half where you dig a hole, you're screwed against them. We all know that in the Big Ten. If Ohio State gets on 14 points, 17 points, 21 points in 7 minutes of play, you're done. But if they can keep it 13-10, 17-10 at the half, their second halves have been that good. And I think I saw a tweet that they're the only team in the country that has not trailed or been tied in the fourth quarter of a football game, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, their first halves are a concern, especially in Columbus. You just can't let the game get away. I'm just surprised hearing from Alex that he's making that take right now.
They haven't looked all that impressive this year.
So
Not that Michigan has. I'm not saying Michigan has either, but I saw what happened last year in Ann Arbor, and it was the ground and pound against the throw it 1,000 times, and ground and pound won pretty easily.
Weather will be a big factor that game. Too early to get into that.
I'm sure it's going to be cold.
But also Ohio State's not fully healthy. So once they get if they get Smith-Njigba back, if they get Travion Henderson back,
Insider Wyatt said that's not happening.
He doesn't think it's happening. Speaking of other good players, my last 2 things, the stats, very quickly. Again, for the Michigan State listeners, do not get mad about me when talking about Blake Corum. I was banging the drum for Kenneth Walker to be in New York alongside you guys. I'm just going to make my case for Corum to continue to be in New York. He is the first back. Actually, I think I looked that set up and that was wrong. So take that back. But since Big Ten play has started, The guy has gotten over 20 carries every game, over 100 yards every game, touchdown every game. He's been a true bell cow. They're showing his stats alongside the last Heisman winners. Now, the key there was Derrick Henry from this point absolutely turned it on and had like 300 yards in the Iron Bowl. So Blake Corum still has to have a massive game in Columbus. That is what the whole thing comes down to. But you watch CJ Stroud have a pedestrian game. You watch Hendon Hooker have a pedestrian game. Bryce Young loses 2 losses. He's not going to repeat from last year. The door is fully cracked for Blake Corum to make a legit run at being a running back Heisman Trophy winner, not just a candidate. So I hope he continues to play, stays healthy, and he's 100% the best running back in the Jim Harbaugh era, and it's been fun to watch. The last stat, which was interesting, it gives credence to the potential that Jim Harbaugh maybe one day leaves for the Indianapolis Colts. But just how impressive he's been to Michigan. And I know Michigan fans have had ups and downs with him. 2020, I was looking back at my text I was laughing at the text I sent from the Rutgers game in 2020 when they almost lost, and just like, this is such a joke of a program, and it's crazy the roller coaster of a ride it's been. But Michigan has had 5 9-0 starts since 1980. The years were 1986, 1997, 2006, that was 1-2 Ohio State, 2016, JT game, 2022. Jim Harbaugh has been directly involved in 3 of those 9-0 starts. Once as a starting QB and twice as head coach. So in 1986 he was a QB, and then 16 and 22 he was the head coach. So I guess it was a good reminder to me to like step back and be like, as much as you criticize this guy, could be a lot worse. Could be Brady Hoke or Rich Rod. So that was fascinating to know that they've only had that many electric starts, and we are heading for a full 2-3 game in Columbus. Okay, Michigan, Nebraska, real quick. Don't have a ton. Their safety got a DUI this week, so tough for him in Nebraska.
Nebraska's awful.
They threw the ball 10 times, I think, against Minnesota.
Casey Thompson, I believe, will be out again. So did you say, do they have a Purdy as their backup?
Yeah, Purdy.
The younger brother who's like a freshman or sophomore.
Jeez.
He's not good.
It's a 3:30 p.m. ABC game. It is the Bussin' Bowl. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bussin' with the boys.
Yeah.
Will Compton of Nebraska, Luwan of Michigan. I believe they said they have a 40-pound trophy. I don't know how official this is.
I don't know why we're giving him any publicity at the moment.
All right, I'll just say Compton. I love Will Compton. They're bringing a 40-pound trophy. Also, speaking of Will Compton, if you go to his Twitter and see there's a 4-minute video of him impersonating Mike Vrabel in a team meeting, it is one of the funniest videos of all time. So go give that a watch after this. It is a minus 29.5 point spread. Over under 49.5 points. Who is on the call, fellas?
It's got to be
ABC.
Bob Wischusen.
No.
Damn it.
Let's go, horny Robert.
Yeah. Mark Jones, RG3, Quint Kesnich.
Kesnich.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Quint Kesnich.
I just don't
Kesnich.
Correct you.
I don't have any keys to the game. I think they're scrappier now that they don't have Frost.
Their
They
offense
suck.
is putrid.
Like, they're not good, but I don't fear them. I fear them more without Scott Frost.
If you're not up by double digits at halftime, it is hit the alarm. There's something wrong with this team in the first half.
So the last 3 games have been close against Purdue, Illinois, and Minnesota, all shitty.
Have they?
They beat Rutgers by 1 point.
I mean, they locked Mickey Thompson, I believe is their interim, is the head coach. I think he just got a deal. I think he's been coaching well.
No,
He's
PJ
the new
Fleck is
head
going to
coach.
be the head coach of Nebraska, Grant.
I think Mickey Joseph, they locked him in.
No way.
Look it up.
Off 3 losses, they're like, yeah, let's hire this guy.
I'm going to double check. I thought I saw it, and I was like, what?
No way.
Okay, yeah, maybe not.
They passed for 80 yards against
What were the scores of their last
Minnesota.
couple of games?
20-13 lost to Minnesota, 26-9 lost to Illinois, 43-37 lost to Purdue, 14-13 win against Rutgers, 35-21 win against Indiana.
All right. So not great. Yeah, I just Googled and Twitter searched Mickey Thompson. I take that back. I don't know what I saw, so that's probably not real.
Yeah, that's not at all real.
Predictions for the game?
It's at the big house. Michigan doesn't leave.
45 to.
We just left, Alex.
Oh, please. You went to Piscataway.
One road game equals 2 home games.
45 to 11.
11. Love that.
I don't even know if Nebraska's going to score.
42-10. Similar to, really close to Evans.
34-7.
Let's clean up special teams. That's the only thing I want. You can't give up any more block punts because if Ohio State does that, you're cooked. All right.
Stop looking ahead so much, Grant. One game at a time.
Alex, can we just...
Every week we talk about Ohio State.
After you guys exposed Illinois, I went right to Ohio State.
Watch you lose to Illinois. That'd be so funny.
Well, the good thing is your season's still in front of you. That's, I guess, the good part about this year. But still, you don't want to do that.
Oh, please. Your season's probably been so boring. You've had 2 games where you could get excited about.
Never trailing or tied in the fourth quarter, I guess. Yeah. Because last year, Nebraska game at Nebraska almost lost. At Penn State almost lost. So there was excitement in those games. Michigan State was an all-time game. An all-time game. So there was a lot.
You got excited for, you got hyped up for the Wisconsin game turned into a blowout.
Yeah.
You were nervous for going into
That's how Penn State was this year, where it was tight at half. You knew you were better, and then they just blew them out. So I was like, oh, well. But it's Ohio State, Alex. I mean, I wanted to take Illinois seriously. I can't.
Just sucks how cupcake schedule you guys got going. Not your fault. Big Ten's awful, but I mean, holy God, your schedule's boring.
Hey, Connecticut 500 football team. Credit to them.
Jesus Christ, Grant. Even Michigan State would blow them out.
If you look at strength of schedule, it's not as bad as it looks on paper.
Just the Big Ten is bad.
Yeah, 100%.
Really bad. Really bad.
It's just 2 teams at the top, and then it's
a bunch of bad teams.
You guys might be the second best team when it's the end of the year.
We would win the West this year.
If you guys win out
in the West.
If you guys win out, I would say you guys are the 3rd best team in the Big Ten as a whole.
Well, yes, we'd have to be because we'd beat Penn State and we'd be 7-5, and then we'd win our bowl game against a MAC team and we'd be 8-5. Very respectable.
Hang a hat on that, baby. All right. Last topic. It'll be kind of quick because we're not getting too in the weeds. That's for John Rothstein at this point. Michigan and Michigan State college hoops preview. This is basically just where we get ourselves in trouble with saying any hot takes, any big season expectations, like last year, me saying it was championship game or bust for the Wolverines.
Tried to warn you.
Laid an egg in the regular season. Still made the Sweet 16, but laid an egg in the regular season. How do you guys feel about the Michigan State Spartans this year? Any big takes, breakout players, something you want to give the audience?
Well, it's no surprise my love of A.J. Hoggard.
Yeah.
I'm predicting he'll be an all Big Ten basketball player this year.
First team?
For the sake of the podcast, sure, I'll give some clickbait. First team all Big Ten.
Best point guard in the Big Ten?
One of either 1 or 2. Number 1 or number 2, considering he'll be on the all Big Ten first team. I don't know I can't even think of any point guards in the Big Ten right now. I'm struggling to think about it. Am I missing someone that's wildly good?
No, I don't think so.
Evan? All right. First team all Big Ten. Best point guard in the Big Ten, A.J. Hoggard.
Team expectations?
Well, let Evan give a hot take.
Hot take? A hot take. Something juicy.
Joey Hauser, Naismith Player of the Year.
Tyson Walker wins Defensive Player of the Year for the Big Ten.
Okay. I like that prediction. It's better than Alex's.
I don't even think A.J. Hoggard is the best on our team anymore, though.
Of what? Just player?
Yeah. I think a different player will end up being the best player on our team.
Who?
It's probably premature. I'm just going to keep this one to the vest.
Jackson Kohler.
You're going to say Pierre Brooks?
No,
he made
Evan.
4 threes?
No. I'm not a dummy. They got to be able to do more than shoot for me to say that.
Oh, okay.
It's not that surprising.
It's Holloman?
No, it's Jaden Akins. He's the most talented player on our team.
Oh, I already chalked him up as the best player on your guys' team, so I was surprised you being so coy about it.
I think he's the best on our team. Or will be.
As long as this
he's not
injury
100% yet.
As long as the injury doesn't nag him.
His second game coming back from a foot injury is going to be on a wet court
Oh, Jesus.
outside.
That's not
Maybe he
good to
shouldn't
say.
play.
That's not good to say.
He's going to slip. Team expectations, Evan.
Team expectations. You're going to compete in the Big Ten, top four.
Top four.
And now the record, Tom Izzo set us up like he usually does. I think a little tougher this year.
Toughest ever.
As the month of November, the 20th ranked team is our easiest opponent so far in November. Going forward from this point on.
Future Michigan State coach.
We play Notre Dame in November.
Like the last day of November, do we?
Yes.
I don't.
On the
I don't
road,
think so.
9 o'clock, Super Tuesday.
Such an Alex like asterisk. Actually, on the last day of November, we played Notre Dame.
December. We play over Thanksgiving break.
Lucas Raymond just tied it up.
God dang, the Ravens just, you can't kill them.
November
Is this
30th, 9:15, Super Tuesday.
Is
November
this-
30th. Literally the last day of November. That's disgusting.
Evan, is this a second weekend team in your gut?
Yes, in my gut. I think there's too many senior leadership to where like they're going to be tested, and shoot, we'll play like a fifth of like the field by the time the season's over with.
We'll play quite a few top 5 seeds.
You think it'll
I'd
be
say.
where it's like a more middle of the range tournament seed, so you have a
Yeah,
chance?
I don't expect to be like a 2 or a 3 seed. I'm expecting to be like a 5, 6, or 7 seed just based off of they're going to see our record and they're going to be like, oh, well, they're not that good, but you got to look strength of schedule and opponents. And it is college basketball, and you are going to lose games if it's expected. Nobody's going to go undefeated, and we do play in one of the best, if not the best, basketball conference in the country. I don't know how good they are going to be this year, but like people just beat the crap out of each other in regular season, and we're only hurting ourselves. So we do have to go to Mackey this year, unfortunately. So just chalk that one up for now already. We already have one loss on the year.
I like that. Just prepping the people early.
Yeah, but expectation should be Sweet 16.
Nice.
But then again, I'm going to make the lame excuse. It's all about the draw. So
There's no reason this team's not a second weekend team. They were 2 minutes from being a second weekend team last year.
If there's anything that would hold them back from being a second weekend team, what would it be?
The front court.
the depth, yeah, exactly. The point production out of your center or your big man on the court. Or,
Can we play defense without fouling? Down low.
That is like the biggest.
If Carson
asterisk
Cooper
on
has
the
to
team.
play serious minutes,
He's big. Don't get me wrong, but
It's not gonna-
experience matters in Big Ten
not
play
gonna
when
go
you're
well.
facing. We have to face Edie.
I don't even think he's
Who's-
that great.
Dick Man.
Play Dickinson.
Oh,
Dickinson.
TJD. TJD.
What's his name?
Not
Wisconsin Wall
Oh.
cooked us last year in the Big Ten tournament. Ohio State Key.
Oh, he's a big boy.
You have to play Chase Jackson Davis.
That was mentioned.
Did you say it? I'm
I
sorry.
said
Couple times.
TJD. So
You messed
But-
me up. My small brain can't handle that.
we covered it twice.
So the post player is vital.
Yeah, big year for my guy Marty. Huge.
But
year.
when you get
You
into
can win without
tournament play,
a post player.
correct. When you get into tournament play, we always say it's all about the guards. Your guards have to be able to run the show, and they have to be able to score.
And I feel
Yeah.
great about our backcourt.
But you look like the previous
There's depth.
champions. You look at the previous champions, and the guards have dominated those teams. Now, don't get me wrong. The post players have gotten you to the championship, but the guards dominate the actual game of the Final Four national championship game.
Caleb Love.
Like Gonzaga's always overrated,
Facts.
and Michigan State will upset Gonzaga on Friday.
Won't even be an upset.
Now that's a huge take. I love that.
Well, I don't know. It's an aircraft carrier, and we always lose the first big game of the year. It's just like a common thing. But yeah, I'll go win.
I found a list of Big Ten point guards, a preseason list written by Gopher Illustrated. They had
Good for him.
Hogard as the 5th. I'm sure you disagree. I'll just give you the names that were ahead of him. You can say yes or no. Xavier Johnson from Indiana.
Freshman.
No,
No.
I think he's like
Is he the one that can't shoot?
number 0. He's a
he's
menace.
garbage.
He was the one in the Big Ten tournament
really?
that refused to shoot.
He can't
think
score.
I think he's pretty good. I don't know if he's better than
He's
Hogard.
not garbage. He's not better than
Just
Hogard.
stats from last year. I'm pretty sure I've
Incorrect.
watched way too many
Next.
games of him in the
Boo
tournament.
Booey of Northwestern.
No.
Well, he cooks our ass every
He
single
just
time he
plays well
faces
one
us.
game a year against us. No chance Boo Boo is better than AJ Hogard.
Paul McCahey of Rutgers.
No, that white kid?
He cooks our ass every
What
time
are
he
we
faces
talking
us.
about? Who
Chucky-
made this list?
Go for
Chucky
Illustrated.
Hepburn? No.
Chucky Hepburn of Wisconsin
No.
was 4th.
No, AJ is by far better than all four of those
They
guys.
had AJ 5th.
Who's behind him? There might be someone actually decent based on this list.
I think I was going to say Sky Clark of Illinois. I think has a chance to be the best point guard in the Big Ten.
Freshman.
He's a freshman.
Who's
Who's a
touted.
freshman Indiana kid?
You can never bank on
Oh.
a true freshman to be that awesome.
Hood Shafino is going to be like probably it'll be him or Jet as the best freshman in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But Hood Shafino's insane. Yeah, he's really good. Indiana
Point
might be a wagon. No, Xavier Johnson's their point guard.
Yeah, AJ Hogarth's the best point guard in the Big Ten right now. I don't even think it's an argument.
I disagree with that, but there's not a clear
you,
number
you
one.
have a terrible bias against AJ Hogarth because of his freshman season. And you do.
Both his seasons, he hasn't. He has a chance to be a Keon Coleman win for you, but he hasn't done anything yet.
When he plays over 20 minutes a game, he averaged 15 and 10. He single-handedly went on an 8-0 run against Purdue and Duke in big tournaments down the stretch as the guy. I don't know what else you needed to see.
Then I should be saying Frankie Collins is a baller because he went on a run
Because he shot
against.
24 times and had 21 points last night.
No, I'm saying
Kid
he's
sucks.
not very good. But I'm saying I wouldn't be pounding the drum for Hogarth.
I will pound it, and you will see it. It sucks. His first game, he had foul trouble, so his stat line is not overly impressive. 9 points, 9 assists, or something
3
like
turnovers, too. I see every box score of
that.
AJ Hogarth this year.
He had one bad turnover. He's going to have a bad turnover.
It honestly sucks because I'll find myself watching games of your guys' for no reason just because I want to hate watch.
You want to hate watch AJ Hogarth.
He's my new LeBron James.
He can get to the rack, no problem. He's a great passer.
He's susceptible to charges because he's not the quickest. He's not the fleetest of foot, but if he can get an edge, he can bully you. I know Evan's not fully on the Hogarth train because we talked last year about
Evan really wants to be. I know he does.
I do want to be on it because obviously it's
Because
Michigan State,
he's
but,
like this close to being the best Big Ten player.
when he is bad and
quicker.
out there, when he is bad,
When he
It's
starts
some of the-
making a string of mistakes, yes, it spirals. That's
and
what I
to
need to
me,
clean up.
he is one of the most stubborn people where he doesn't take blame for himself. If I go out there and watch a game where he's taking blame for most of his turnovers and doesn't point fingers and tell somebody else it was their fault, I'll be on the board.
Yeah. He might end up being the best Big Ten point guard. It's just, I think we all know he's not a generational guy because he can't shoot. So that's going to hold him back for sure. But we'll see. We'll see how this year goes.
He can shoot.
No. What?
He
From
can
3?
physically shoot, yes. He can physically shoot.
Shot well in the
Shoot well.
exhibition and preseason.
Congrats, Alex.
I'll just leave you with 10 of 51.
Oh, God.
Cody McRae texted me and said, Cole Cabana has been offered by Miami. You guys are so screwed. He's going to play for Speed and Space, Josh
If he
Gaddis.
plays for Gaddis, we can't even be mad at that point. For Michigan, I don't know. I like it in terms of there's not as much buzz around this team as there was last year. That was a little too much for me. I realized that like Alex said, I fell into it. They did still make the second weekend. I think this can be a second weekend team. I think they will be. I think when you have Hunter Dickinson, you always have a chance in the Big Ten and in the tournament because he's just a matchup problem. And especially when we see in the Big Ten, a lot of Big Ten teams have a game plan for a dominating big. That's just Kofi Coburn, TJD. I haven't listed off all the names. So they struggle more in the Big Ten than they can sometimes in tournament games where Tennessee, Colorado State, they just face a guy and what do we do with this guy? We're just not used to seeing this all year. So him returning always gives you a chance. It's a huge year for Juwan to see the stability of what to expect from him. Where is it just going to be shooting star years, and then valleys? I mean, this is year 4, so we had COVID year where it was pretty 500 level. They were having to win games of the Big Ten tournament to try to get into the tournament. Then it got canceled and the world shut down. Then you have winning the Big Ten during no fans, falling to UCLA in a disgusting display of basketball. And then you have this year where bad regular season, scrapping in a tournament, make the Sweet 16. So it's been all over the place. I don't know what to expect. Hot take wise, I kind of gave it away with Jet Howard. I think it's either him or Hood Schifino from Indiana for Big Ten Freshman of the Year. I would tell any Michigan fan that just enjoy what you see from him for this year because this is his only year at Michigan. If he continues to play what I've seen in the limited amount of basketball that I've seen, and sometimes like too small a sample size, but like we all trust our eyes when you watch a basketball game. You can just kind of tell when someone has it, and you're like, oh, that's different. That is what I thought we were getting in Caleb Houston. That's what I thought. I now realize what I was like, oh, this is what that was supposed to look like. And that's no offense to Caleb Houston. He still had big moments for this team, but he was just kind of like
Caleb Houston didn't look good. He wore a T-shirt under his jersey.
Jet
he
does
looked
too.
like he sucked.
It was. I would think he would say it like this. He didn't look confident when he'd come off, like Max Christie. They never looked comfortable off dribble handoffs or screen downs, come off, make a decision. Like those two just looked like kind of Bambi on a basketball court. Jet Howard looks like he just plays with doesn't give a shit. Like he just knows. He's got a little bit of Jordan Poole, like in the NBA, where it's like he just knows he's good. He trusts his shot. We'll see how it evolves as teams start to game plan him more as the word gets out on him. Besides that, my personal favorite guy is going to be Doug McDaniel, the backup point guard. He's like a little even shorter than Frankie Collins, just so fast. I love quick point guards that are kind of menaces.
Flash factor.
Yeah, flash factor and just
turnovers.
They're
going to turn the ball over a million times.
Another fan favorite, Alex's favorite, Jace Howard. Looks like he's going to be cracking the rotation this year as like the defense energy guy off the bench. So I'm excited to see him just go for boards and play defense. Yeah, love that. And then I guess my last take is that breakout player of the year for Michigan, probably one of the better. Him and Jane Akins will probably, if there was a sophomore of the year award, I think it'll be him and Kobe Buffkin battling for that. Kobe Buffkin looked like he lived in the weight room this offseason, and he looks way more confident than he did his freshman year through an exhibition game and the first game of the season so far. So that is encouraging. The one downfall, if this team doesn't make the second weekend, like you guys had to answer, it'll be because of their defense, of just tenacity and level of getting stops in a row. I'm pretty confident in this offense being solid throughout the whole year, being able to score. Because for the first time, I guess since the team that won the Big Ten, they, unlike last year, they played two centers the whole time with Diabate and Dickinson. Now they actually have spacing. All four guys can shoot the ball. They got Joey Baker off the bench who can knock down threes. So they actually have built the team around Dickinson in the best possible way. So I think they'll be able to score, but I don't know about defense. So we'll see how that tenacity goes throughout the year. But should be exciting. I think they will be in the mix for the Big Ten, similar to Michigan State. If Indiana's legit, they could run away with it. If Illinois, the talent and the transfers brings to fruition, they could be okay.
Michael Meyer.
But I think our two teams will have at least be in the mix for the Big Ten title in, say, like January.
There's always a random Big Ten team that wins or shares. Wisconsin was preseason 11th picked in the Big Ten last year, and they split.
Jake Marsh had him out of
every year.
Jake Marsh had him out of the tournament to start the year.
It happens every year. Some random Big Ten team is good. And
but our two teams
are
aren't
considered random at the point.
No, they're not random.
I don't buy Indiana yet, and I don't buy Illinois yet. I'm not going to buy teams that are super young.
I think I buy at Indiana. I don't feel good about Michigan winning at Indiana. They're going to be frothing at the mouth this year.
I'm not saying we're just going to beat Indiana on the road, but I'm also not going to sit here and say I think Indiana's the clear favorite to win the Big Ten.
Michigan's last two games is at Illinois, at Indiana.
Oh wow, those could be big. They could be big games. They could be
not
big
a
time.
good taste going into
no.
Ohio State might
well,
be
and then
good.
your game before that, so your last three games, you're home against Wisconsin.
They got to be down, right? You can't replace Johnny Davis in that program.
Yeah, but is that the first game against Wisconsin at home since the?
No, I think we go there before. We play them twice.
Yeah, I know
this
you
year.
go there before. Is that the first game though? Michigan fans can get full on Greg Gard up in their mouth.
yeah. They'll have a full taste of Greg Gard that night. And Krabenhoff. I think people hate Krabenhoff more than Greg Gard.
Wisconsin lost a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I think so. Oh, Chucky Hepburn, number 1 Big Ten point guard.
Point guard in Big
If you
Ten.
just see what Chucky Hepburn looks like, I get what AJ Hogard looks like. but come
Alex,
on.
you know what? This is your get those blogging fingers out and write your top 10 Big Ten point guard rankings.
I gotta find time for that, Grant. Sorry.
Chucky Hepburn is going to be last on a
I
spike.
can tell you right now, AJ Hogard is. If that is the best 5 or 4 you could find,
Where do you got Jalen
I feel
Llewellyn?
good. I think he's a good player.
Okay.
I watched him make a fatal error in the Ivy League championship game last year. I knew who he was before he went to you guys.
What did he do?
He turned it over back-to-back possessions with a 1-point lead, and they lost.
Ooh. Hopefully he's not pressing too much. I don't think he'll have to with the people around him. All right. That is show 96, all-encompassing good one. We are winners. We are winners this week. It feels good. Red Wings probably are going to win as we stop recording here, and then we'll just keep the winning train going. So that's all for show 96. Cheers to the aircraft carrier game. It's a fun spectacle.
College basketball is back with football.
Oh yeah, baby, it's November.
Cheers to
Cheers to
Ruby.
Thanksgiving coming up. Cheers to Ruby. Cheers to the new dog.
Cheers to Ruby.